And I was just a crazy child. I was flipping all over the house and doing unsafe things. So my parents thought it was best to put me in a safe environment to do those things, and the rest is history.
Welcome to Everybody Pulls the Tarp, the go-to podcast for high performers. I'm Andrew Moses, and each week I talk with Olympians, pro athletes, TV stars, Grammy winners, best-selling authors, CEOs, and other high performers to uncover their success secrets. Every conversation is jam-packed with inspiration and actionable ideas we all can apply to our own lives, personally and professionally. Get ready for a behind-the-scenes look at the techniques, processes, and mindsets powering the world's most successful people. Let's go. Hi, everyone. This week, my guest is University of Oklahoma gymnast Jordan Bowers. Jordan is a two-time national champion, seven-time NCAA All-American, and 2024 Big 12 Conference Gymnast of the Year. In 2024, she was also named a finalist for the Honda Sport Award, an annual award in the United States which honors the top collegiate female athlete in each sport. Jordan is coming off of a breakout junior season where she competed in the all-around in every meet at a 98% hit rate. And in March, she helped lead Oklahoma to the Big 12 gymnastics title. She recorded a 39.925 in the all-around at the Big 12 championship, which ranked as the fourth highest score in NCAA history. And at this year's NCAA championships, Jordan earned first-team All-America honors on floor and bar. In the conversation you are about to hear, Jordan shares a behind-the-scenes look at her journey that's taken her from her days as a 2-year-old in gymnastics classes all the way to the University of Oklahoma, where she's become one of the most elite collegiate athletes on the planet. Our conversation is filled with powerful ideas on developing discipline, learning to trust yourself, being present in the moment, and so much more. Jordan's wisdom is well beyond her years, and this episode is absolutely jam-packed with actionable lessons that apply far beyond gymnastics. I hope you take away as much from this conversation as I have. So, let's pull the tarp and get straight to Jordan Bowers. Jordan, I'm so excited to sit down and have this conversation. Where I want to begin, I want to go way back. Your first memories of gymnastics, when and how did it all start for you?
So I started at the age of 2. I have an older sister. Her name's Felicity, and she's 3 years older than me. So she was in gymnastics before I was in. And I was just a crazy child. I was flipping all over the house and doing unsafe things. So my parents thought it was best to put me in a safe environment to do those things. And the rest is history. I just absolutely fell in love with it and haven't looked back.
So you fell in love with it right away. You started at the age of 2. I guess, when is the first time that you really remember that, maybe from a skill perspective, that you were a little bit better maybe than everybody else around you, or that this was something that if you devoted a lot of time to, you could become elite at? Do you remember that first time that you felt like that was a possibility?
Yeah. Growing up, I never really thought of it any different, but I was 7 and I was training with girls that were 15 and 16, and those were the girls I was training with, and those were my friends and stuff, but I didn't think anything of it. But I feel like a time that I think I realized that I could go further with the sport was at level 9 Westerns. The development coach at the time for the U.S. developmental team, Valeri Lukin, came up to my coach and said, hey, we would love to invite her to camp. She looks amazing. She looks like she has kind of that elite level athlete type of look to her. And then from then on, I went to development camp for a while and then started going to national team camps and got on national team and did all of that stuff.
Now, when you make the transition and put yourself into those spots where you're going from kind of what you were doing locally and regionally into those national camp environments, I would imagine now everybody around you is really, really good. What was that experience like? Because that's an adjustment for, that a lot of people experience and talk about. And it's not just in sports, in almost anything. When you go to a new school, you play baseball, you go from the minor leagues to the big leagues, high school to college in a sport. Like, talk about that. I've got to believe that is a unique adjustment.
Yes, definitely. Very unique. I mean, physically and mentally as well. So I really just had to hone in on my gymnastics. I was working out almost 40 hours a week throughout my elite career. So really just dedicated all of my time basically to gymnastics. And going to camps, everybody is at the same level. Everybody wants to get international assignments. Like, everyone wants to go to the Olympics. So being around in that environment is definitely very motivating, but also very tough on you as well.
What were some of the things that you did or coaches encouraged you to do to try and manage some of that the stress that could be there around trying to navigate all that?
Yeah, my parents were very good about trying to keep me in school because I am a social person. So they didn't want me fully homeschooled, although I did have to go half days at school, but they did everything in their power to keep me in at least half days at school. So I did have some social time with my friends and to go hang out with them on the weekends if I had a chance. Like, they really tried very hard to do that for me. And I really appreciate that because that definitely helps me in the long run as well.
I'm curious. One of the words that will come up a lot in the conversations that I have with the world's top performers in any craft is the idea of sacrifice. And some people talk about the idea of making sacrifices, and other people say, you know what, it's not a sacrifice because it's what I love doing and something that I chose to do. Did you feel as though you were sacrificing things that you didn't get to do because of the commitment that you had made to gymnastics at an early age, or did you not see it as a sacrifice?
I feel like I did and I didn't. Definitely harder when I got into high school and all my friends were hanging out a lot more. And, you get to go to the football games every Friday. And, I had practice, so I couldn't go to those things. And just doing a bunch of those bigger social things that I couldn't miss practice for. But I feel like I never really dreaded that because I knew what I wanted and what I was working towards.
Do you feel, to accomplish all the things that you've accomplished, you have to have a high level of discipline. I'm curious, do you think that the discipline was something that you learned, or was the discipline something that you were just naturally born with?
I feel like definitely a little bit of both. I feel like I've always kind of been a disciplined person, especially starting gymnastics at such a young age. It is such like a disciplinary sport. It's very individual. It's very on you. Like, you do like have a team and stuff, but when you're out there individually. You're not relying on anybody else. So I do feel like that is something that gymnastics does really teach you, and very grateful for that. And you definitely learn it from a very young age as well.
In many ways, it is a little bit of like a microcosm for life, right? Because a lot of things we do in life, we're kind of out there and we've got to own it and be accountable to ourselves. But we also have a support network and support system around us that we can tap into. And like you described there, it's an individual sport in a team environment, right? I mean, there's team scoring and individual scoring. I'm curious, like, that piece of developing the discipline, because you said there, it was, in your mind, it was kind of a mixture. Some of it was natural and kind of just born in you, and some of it was something that you developed over time. Were there things that you did or coaches advised you to do to help build out that discipline and make sure that you were able to maintain that rigor and focus over a long, long period of time?
Yeah. I feel like just constantly just reminding me of what the goal is and like what I'm here to do. And every day needs to have a purpose to it. You're not just going through the motions and doing this, trying to get out of practice. So when you're in the gym, like, you're in the gym and you're focused on in the gym. When you're outside of the gym doing something, you're focused on that outside of the gym to get that done. So that has definitely been instilled in me from coaches, parents, like all of that sort of stuff. That has helped me along the way as well.
So take me through that a little bit and paint the scene, right? Like, I've talked to major league hitters who, will break down an at bat, and they'll say, the at bat actually really began the night before with a good night's sleep and putting on my blue blocker glasses an hour before I go to sleep and eating the right things and not eating too close to bed and all this stuff. And then when I get to the on deck circle, I'm already kind of focused and figuring out what I'm doing and I'm timing things. And then I get to the plate and there's a whole other series of events and sequences that happen there. So take me through that. Like you talked about there, that decision that when you're in the gym, you're in the gym. When you're outside the gym, you're outside the gym. But take me through kind of your process for preparing to enter the gym, the kind of the act of entering the gym. Like what are you doing to kind of get yourself dialed in? And then in there, how do you stay focused and locked in?
Yeah, so I really and it's been a skill that I've really tried to focus on, especially recently as I've gotten older, you kind of realize things more. But again, like when I'm outside of the gym, like I am trying to completely shut my mind off of gymnastics so I don't get too overworked mentally or kind of stress myself out a little bit. So when I'm in the gym to prepare mentally, I mean, we get there early. We warm tub before to warm up our muscles, and we get taped and do all that sort of stuff. So kind of just staying loose, and I try to have as much fun with it as I can. I do better when I'm out there having fun rather than just like all like a stress ball or anything. So just taking the time to take some deep breaths and just really think about what I'm going to do that day and kind of plan. And our days are very planned out. My coach is very structured, very, very organized. So we know down to every minute what we're doing. So that really helps me as well, because then I can completely plan for what I'm doing that practice and that stuff.
How you talked about the importance of fun and having fun and how that has played a role in your success. Can you recall a time where you felt like things weren't as fun anymore? And what did you do to kind of recalibrate?
Yeah. So when I was an elite, I had a really bad back injury at the age of 15 at a big major competition. And before that point, I had an amazing year. That was in 2018. I went to multiple international competitions, won those international competitions, was like kind of on a high that year. And then it abruptly came to a stop. And I was just kind of struggling mentally in the gym, like just after all of that, I completely put my identity into gymnastics, which is something I realized that I should not have done. But when you're young and you want something so bad, that's what you do. So when I got really hurt, I couldn't do anything. So that really just kind of took a toll on me mentally, physically, and everything. And I wanted to be completely done with the sport. I was done with it. I didn't like where I was at mentally. Like I thought that it wasn't for me anymore. So I took some good time off to help with my back and recover and stuff. And I ended up wanting to continue. And my doctors and I had to make the ultimate decision, if I wanted to continue with elite gymnastics and possibly hurt my back more and kind of hinder my life more, or kind of take my skill level back and really just focus on going back to level 10 and then on to college gymnastics. So that was definitely a really hard time for me, but something that I definitely needed to grow through as well, because it's really helped me out in the end.
What do you do now if you feel like, first of all, I guess stepping back, can you sense when some of that like lack of joy is starting to kind of enter your mind now? And like, do you do something to kind of ward it off earlier?
Yeah, I think just trying not to get too caught up in things, we get into such a routine and things can kind of feel like the days are all running together. But what really helps me is when I'm out of the gym doing things that I really enjoy and really, not focusing on being in the gym, because that mentally drains you. And then you go into the next practice and it just kind of rolls over. So doing those things really does help me.
And then I'd imagine when you get back into the gym, you have this kind of fresher perspective and you're able to kind of bring that joy. If somebody's watching from afar, like if I was in the gym and I'm trying to figure out, is Jordan Bowers in bringing the joy right now, or is she kind of heading towards a little bit of struggle? Like what am I looking for? What do I see when there's like joy in your,
I'm I'm very different like in the gym than when I'm out like competing. I'm not sure if you've ever seen videos or anything when I compete,
I
but
have, yeah.
I look very intense when I compete. Like I don't look like I'm like having much fun, but when I compete, like I'm so dialed in and like that is me having fun. But in the gym, like I'm laughing, I'm dancing, like I take a turn and it's not my best, and I don't dwell on that. I try to completely wipe that away. Every turn's a new turn. Every day is a new day. So really just kind of turning that page over and trying not to think about the past at all and just letting loose and just really being myself.
Has that just become, is that how you've always been? That you're able to kind of just put things into the past really quickly and live in the moment? Or is it again, something that you've really had to train yourself?
I feel like maybe a little bit of both. Definitely got hard with my injury and like that type of stuff and just kind of rewiring my brain during that time. But it's definitely a skill that I've really had to work on. And I still work on it. I can always be better at that. And I try to help my teammates with that as well and kind of guide them through that also.
You talked about your teammates there. You guys are coming off a great year. But I want to stick with your freshman year first before we get to some of the more recent times. 2022, you burst onto the scene. You're named Big 12 Conference Newcomer of the Year following your first year at Oklahoma. Freshman year, NCAA first team All-American on floor, NCAA second team All-American on vault and bars, Big 12 floor champion, ranked number 1 in the nation on vault to end the regular season, 3-time All Big 12 selection on the vault, bars, and floor. Jordan, I'm out of breath talking about the accolades from your freshman year. So I'm curious, what do you kind of, just thinking back to that successful start to your college career, what would you kind of attribute, what would you say were some of the keys to getting off to a great start at the college level?
I would definitely say confidence is the biggest thing. I had never really been on like a team before. I'd always trained by myself, like competed by myself, those types of things. So it was a really hard adjustment for me. But, I had a great group of girls that year that really kind of helped me through that. My coaches really helped me through that. It was something that I just was very unfamiliar with, but you got to be uncomfortable to grow. So that was something I'm really thankful for as well. So I kind of struggled the first half of season my freshman year just with confidence. I do it amazing in the gym every single time. And then I kind of go to competition and I kind of like panicked a little bit. So, really just learning to trust myself my coaches are trusting me to put me out there. So, trusting in my coaches, trusting in my teammates, like knowing that they have my back and just putting full faith in myself and knowing that I have that confidence. I feel like I made a flip of a switch like halfway through season. And then the rest of the season was amazing from then on.
Was there any moment where you really, there's like confidence is kind of a continuum, right? Like there's a lot between having like no confidence and having a lot of confidence. But was there, and you talked about there, obviously struggling with the confidence a little bit and then flipping that switch. Was there ever a point when you would say to yourself, like, maybe I'm just not cut out for this? Like, was it ever kind of that far on the continuum of losing confidence in yourself?
Yeah, I mean, this has always been a dream of mine to compete at the college level and compete for the University of Oklahoma. The legacy here is absolutely insane. All the girls that have come before me have instilled that in this program. And that's something that I wanted to withhold. So I feel like I was putting a little too much pressure on myself to be perfect. And then in that moment, I wasn't doing as well because I was putting so much pressure on myself. So just taking competition as any other day, it's just another practice, it's just another routine. You're just in front of everybody and you're out in a different arena, but it's really no different. So that was something that I definitely really worked on.
Were there, like when it clicked, you talked about that moment where you kind of flipped that switch, like, did you know immediately that things had kind of changed for you? Like, could you tell immediately?
Yes, it was at the Metroplex meet my freshman year, which was a quad meet. It's on podium, and that's a really fun meet. So I feel like that was also kind of I don't know, kind of a change for me because every other meet we had up until that point was a duel. So it was just our team and then another team. But a quad, there's 4 teams. So it's a lot going on, a lot of fun. The crowd's having fun. So I feel like at that meet, and I'd had a lot of conversations with my coaches, with one of my teammates, Carly Woodard. She really helped me through that. And I feel like at that meet, she really helped me a lot in the moment. And that is when like that flip of the switch happened.
What was it specifically that you felt like she was able to help you with?
Definitely beam. Beam was definitely the one that I struggled with the most. And she was incredible on beam. She had confidence like no other when she went out there. So that was something she kind of instilled in me and just helped me realize that I can do that too, and kind of took some of her ways as well.
So I'm curious, Jordan, at the University of Oklahoma, you have an immense opportunity because you're competing at the highest level. You're representing a tremendous brand with national and global reach. And the world has kind of changed the last few years for college athletes. You've got the opportunity with the name, image, and likeness, opportunities and platforms to do some different things. You mentioned a little bit ago that when you do things outside of the gym, it actually helps you in the gym. So I'm curious, have you been able to take advantage of some of the opportunities and entrepreneurial platforms, through the NIL space over the past couple of years?
Yes, I have. NIL is amazing. It really is a way to grow your brand and just really get people to kind of see the other side of you. They really only see you in a leotard out there and, Jordan Bowers as the gymnast. But I feel like now they can kind of see you as more of a person and more of what your values are and kind of what you instill within yourself.
What would you say about this part? Let's call it the business side of Jordan Bowers. What would you say has been the most, let's start with what do you think has been the most interesting thing that you've learned kind of as you've explored that side of things?
I think just, there's a lot of businesses out there that reach out to you, but I really try to only do the ones that kind of resonate with me. So I'm very big on family, and I do have a big military family background. So I've done a bunch of things with military companies and vets for dogs, giving charity events for vets and that type of stuff. Just, helping out people. I love trying to help people and doing that type of stuff. So that's really been great in the NIL world.
So that's the most interesting, and finding things that resonate with you. What's been the most surprising piece of the NIL and the entrepreneurial side of this?
I would say, it's all very new and we're all still learning as it goes on. But I think just and you see as a whole, how much people can make, which is crazy. So I think just, knowing the possibilities, there's endless opportunities. And I feel like that's something that's definitely kind of harder to grasp when it first started, because you never really know the ins and outs of it and stuff, but there are so many opportunities and it is endless out there of what you can do.
Do you ever feel like you get into this kind of place that really none of us want to be, which is the comparison game, where we're seeing what others are doing, maybe somebody at another school, maybe it's something that a teammate's doing, and you're like, well, I could have done that. How come I didn't have that opportunity? Or why didn't I take that opportunity? Does that stuff ever start clouding into your mind?
I feel like not really, because I really try just to do stuff, that I personally love and I want to explore and put out there. And what other people do, they're probably really interested in as well. So
I'm curious, when you think about kind of managing this all, right? And you talked about this, you talked about something that, again, I've come back to now a few times. It's so important. And I think so many people listening can take something away from, is this idea that you're best as a gymnast when you're doing different things outside of the gym. Would you say that getting you have the opportunity to get your hands in all these different things it's been helpful because it kind of forces you in a way to kind of break away from gymnast Jordan Bowers. But has it at any point been kind of hard for you to manage? You talked about these very programmed and scheduled days and everything's kind of down to the minute. There's a operational piece to this and a time management piece to this that I would imagine is challenging too, to add this to the plate of a Division I college athlete, student athlete.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely, on my days off, I want to do things that I want to do, and I want to relax, and I want to do this and stuff. So really just trying to plan out my days and when I'm going to do NIL stuff as well. Just trying to really strategically plan those things out also helps me as well to not feel too overwhelmed. So trying not to do too much on my off day to keep me, going throughout the week and feeling rested mentally and physically as well.
So we talked about all your success as a freshman breaking onto the scene, Big 12 Conference Newcomer of the Year. But this past year was another big season for you as well. Just a fantastic season, competing in the all-around in every meet at a 98% hit rate. You helped Oklahoma win its 15th Big 12 gymnastics title in March. At the NCAA championships, earned first team All-America honors on floor and bars. It became the first gymnast in University of Oklahoma history to record 3 perfect scores in the same meet. I mean, Jordan, it's just like accolade after accolade. And I'm curious, somebody like you who's had this lifetime of extraordinary discipline and focus, do you ever take a moment to pause and reflect on all the successes? Or are you just so focused on the next practice, the next meet? Talk about that for a minute.
I don't know. I feel like maybe a little bit of both, like kind of in the moment. Definitely after Big 12s was definitely on a high. That was such an insane meet. And that was just a crazy meet as a team and individually. And everything came together in that moment. And it was truly so amazing. But, you celebrate for one night and all of your successes, and then you move on to the next day because you got practice and you got another meet to go on to, and then we're on to postseason of the year. So I really do try to just keep it in the moment and celebrate those things in the moment and then move right on.
So you give yourself a little bit of time to celebrate and then you move on. I'm imagining at some point when the competition phase of your career has come to a close, you're going to spend a lot of time reflecting on this journey and all the successes and obviously all the things that you've learned along the way. When we think about things that you've learned along the way, I just believe that sports is just such a powerful vector and vehicle to learn about leadership and important life skills. I mean, we've alluded to some of them over the past number of minutes, but what would you say, Jordan, are some of the biggest lessons, like life lessons that you've taken away that you're going to be able to apply to future phases of your life outside of gymnastics?
Yeah, I feel like I am kind of a natural leader. Just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of naturally take that leadership role. And then when you get into a big team like this, it's definitely harder, but something that I continue to work on and I strive for every day. I want to be the best teammate I can be. I want to be the best leader I can be, especially me being as a senior, kind of really taking that into role this year and taking the freshmen under and just really showing them the rope, showing them the culture here, the legacy. And just, I had that my freshman year, so I want that same experience for them. So just really kind of instilling that in them as well. But that definitely helps for the future as well. I want to go into the coaching world and all that type of stuff. So that will definitely help me there.
I know you want to get into the coaching world and you're going to do some things after your competition career, your career in competition is over to start to pursue that. What is it about coaching in particular that is so interesting to you?
I think just my coaches throughout my life and especially here just have really inspired me, not only in the gym, but outside of the gym, to be the best version of myself and to hold myself accountable and to try and hold others accountable. So me helping athletes and helping them achieve their dreams and their goals and helping them become the best athlete that they can be just really inspires me and really motivates me.
There's countless things that you've learned and you have so much wisdom beyond your years, Jordan. I know when you do get to that phase of your career, you're going to make a powerful impact on so many lives. As we get ready to wrap up our conversation, I'm curious, would you say you get more motivation I love asking people this question. I love asking high performers this question. Do you get more motivation to prove your doubters wrong? Or do you get more motivation to prove the people that believe in you that they're right?
I definitely get more motivation to prove my doubters wrong. The people who believe in me, they believe in me for a reason. And the haters, they're out there. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you're capable of. So it definitely fuels me when people doubt you and people doubt our team and stuff. And that just kind of lights a fire under me and is like a flip of a switch.
If teammates and coaches, like if you were listening to teammates and coaches talk about you, what's one or two things that you would just want them to say about you?
I would say that I was a great teammate and tried to take advantage of every opportunity, but, not take anything for granted and just really be in the moment, being a great leader and just continuing on this incredible culture and legacy that our program has.
Jordan, and just to wrap up our conversation, I want you to kind of fast forward in your mind way into the future. And I don't know, it's 20, 30 years from now, and you're you're going through a box of stuff, of kind of artifacts and memorabilia from your gymnastics career, old leotards and old trophies and medals and just documents and pictures and different things. Like, what do you think the emotions like that you're going to feel like when you do that and open up a box from, a long time ago and some of those memories start coming back?
Yeah, definitely going to be bittersweet. I've done gymnastics my entire life. So, after this year, it's going to be done. But, I've cherished every moment. I feel like I have made the best out of every situation that I could have. And, it's really shaped me into the person I am today. And I couldn't be more grateful to go through those struggles and through those highs, because you can't grow without struggle and you can't go throughout life without struggling. So gymnastics has definitely taught me a lot, and I will definitely continue that on throughout my entire life. So just thankful for it all.
Well, Jordan, I'm so thankful for this conversation and that we were connected here and got a chance to chat and dig into your story a little bit. There is no question you have, like I said moments ago, you have wisdom beyond your years. You have an incredible positivity about you. And there is no question that as you move on to the next phase of your life and career, you are going to impact the lives of so many through the lessons that you've learned and what you're going to teach future generations of athletes and competitors and whatever it is that you coach them in. So I just want to say thank you for your time and tell you that you're forever a part of the Everybody Pulls the Tarp community here. You are a certified tarp puller. You've always been willing to do the nitty gritty, to get the job done, do the work when nobody's watching, to put yourself in a position to succeed and also lift each other up, which is a cornerstone of living the Everybody Pulls the Tarp mindset. So you are forever a tarp puller, Jordan Bowers. Thank you so much for your time this week.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, everyone. If you loved this episode, you might also enjoy my interview with two-time World Cup champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and back-to-back FIFA Women's Player of the Year, Carli Lloyd. In 2003, Carli was cut from the U.S. under-21 national team. But instead of quitting, she got to work. She set out training 2 to 3 times per day and transformed her mindset to embrace challenges, stop making excuses, and turn weakness into strength. Ultimately, Carli went on to become the best player in the world, winning back-to-back FIFA Women's Player of the Year awards in 2015 and 2016. You can find my conversation with Carli right here on Everybody Pulls the Tarp in your favorite podcast app. It's filled with inspiration and powerful lessons that you don't want to miss. Check it out and let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me this week. Be sure to subscribe in your favorite podcast app so you can catch all of our upcoming episodes. And if you are like me and want a world full of tarp pullers, then leave a review to help others find us. You can also follow me on Twitter at Andrew H. Moses. That's Andrew H. Moses. And be sure to sign up for my email newsletter at everybodypullsthetarp.com/newsletter. I'll share tips and insights to help you achieve maximum success and happiness. Today is a great day to pull the tarp. I am rooting for you. See you next time.